our next speaker for this, because I think this is a session we planned well in advance and really thought about who is it that we want to have here to give us a keynote on day one, to show us where that level of commitment is from the pharmaceutical industry. Somebody, as I say, son of Africa, to close the session, because Menassie, who will be joining us shortly, comes from that pedigree. Watches videos. He talks about 1970, growing up in Ethiopia, and then advanced roles that you're defying. It's there's no sky's not the limit. I mean, he just exemplifies. I think the cheetah in Africa, moving at full speed, and I'm so glad he's now taken on the role at Viatris as a global, the emerging markets. And I would ask Manish to prepare the speakers. And thank you, everybody, for joining us this session. So we'll be with you shortly.
Good morning, good afternoon, good day, everybody. Kawaldip, thank you so much for that kind introduction, and great to see you again as we work together on this important topic. And thank you to all the presenters. Absolutely fascinating presentations and videos on an important topic. I first want to extend my congratulations to the organizers of the International Alliance of Patient Associations, IAPO, for hosting this year's African Patient Congress for the first time on the continent. As many of you will know, the World Health Summit was also held its first regional meeting in Africa last month. So for me, again, as a son of the continent, this is a good sign that Africa's healthcare needs are finally being put front and center. A long way to go, but a good start in the process. I also want to congratulate the African Union for the work to be able to establish the first Pan-African medicines regulator, the African Medicines Agency, ensuring a unified approach to regulating medicines and also related products that I think will greatly benefit patients, their access to quality healthcare across the continent. This is an important step, again, on a journey that we'll be on. With the hosting of these meetings in Africa, along with the coming of the African Medicines Agency, I'm very encouraged to see global and local collaborators work together to be able to build a promising future for the African healthcare systems. Obviously, we talk about it as one when we say African, but multiple healthcare systems across the continent. At Viatris, we stand firmly in our mission to be able to empower people worldwide to live healthier at every stage of life. And I'll expand a little bit on that. As one of the leading pharmaceutical companies, we are uniquely positioned to be able to address both non-communicable and communicable diseases with a very large and diversified portfolio of treatments that we have. We follow three core principles as a company: leadership, partnership, and access. And I'll describe some of these as I go along for you. But as the president of Viatris Emerging Markets, I oversee a region that serves 5 billion people across a diverse range of socioeconomic levels and healthcare needs. Among these markets, we have some of the highest rates of per capita death, both again from infectious and non-communicable diseases, as some of the speakers have highlighted. Our teams take our role very seriously as a leader in healthcare, providing the latest treatments and forming invaluable partnerships. This is a theme that I want you to walk away from my keynote: invaluable partnerships to be able to provide the sort of access to medicine and treatments that we provide. These partnerships with local governments, health institutions, NGOs, other stakeholders, to be able to reach the most vulnerable communities across emerging markets with access to healthcare that they need. Through our partnerships with many associations around the world, much of which are very global in nature, we're able to reach the heart of Africa across many examples. As a leader in the fight, as an example, in the infectious disease space, such as HIV/AIDS, TB, and hepatitis, we've worked extensively in stemming the tide in some of these infectious diseases in low and middle income countries. In fact, tuberculosis is the leading killer of people with HIV/AIDS, claiming 1 in 4 lives of people with HIV. As such, Viatris provides access to treatment to multi-drug resistant tuberculosis to many low and middle income countries along with antiretroviral drugs, to around 40% of all people on treatment for HIV globally. Again, I'll punctuate that number because I think it's important. Of all the antiretroviral treatments on a global basis, some 40% of all people on treatment today are on a product that we as Viatris provide. Many of these folks, as we all know, reside in Africa. From manufacturing a pediatric-friendly antiretroviral used to treat HIV-positive infants, to providing a HIV self-test in low and middle income countries, we're innovating. And so the innovation here is in part in the product, but it's also in the delivery mechanism and being able to make sure that, as some of the speakers spoke about it a little earlier, that the patients are diagnosed in the appropriate way. So innovating to be able to help patients across the board. With hepatitis becoming a greater threat in Africa than AIDS or TB, we've recently launched the first pan-genotypic treatment regimen for the treatment of hepatitis C, which has been approved by the WHO pre-qualification of medicines program. It's clearing it for distribution and use by UN agencies and other international bodies, treating some 400,000 patients in 2020 alone, again, many of whom reside in Africa. So, and as the last speaker spoke of, the non-communicable disease burden in Africa soon will overtake both communicable, maternal, neonatal, and nutritional diseases combined. And so there's been a shift, and we need to get ahead of it. By all projections, non-communicable diseases will be the leading cause of mortality in sub-Saharan Africa by 2030. And so our team at Viatris is really wasting no time in collaborating with local health officials across Africa to be able to provide sustained and widespread access to effective treatments for the treatment and prevention of NCDs. But the moments I'm actually extremely proud of, and the proudest of, are really the ones where we're able to share our innovative solutions, our equipment, to be able to teach local healthcare professionals, bridging infrastructure and healthcare gaps. Patients are at the heart of what we do at Viatris. Our aim is to be able to walk the patient journey, the patient healthcare journey, forging key partnerships and engaging patient advocacy groups, healthcare professionals, government officials, and other stakeholders to the betterment of patients and public health, in ensuring the most effective treatments in the most remote communities as is needed. Our partnership with healthcare professionals is enabling us to be able to evolve how medical products and services are provided in many of the countries that we serve across the African continent. So I'll leave you with this as we embark on this journey together. We at Viatris believe that partnerships can make a much more impact on patients, and we commit to work together for a better future in healthcare across Africa, a future where everybody, everywhere, can live a healthier life at every stage of life. So thank you very much for all the distinguished speakers. All the topics were absolutely very well engaging, and I hope you get a sense, as our moderator pointed out, the role of private industry and some of the things that we're doing from a Viatris perspective on the continent itself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Menassie. I think what Menassie has laid out is a big signpost for everybody to watch out for Viatris, because we began to work with Viatris in Asia Pacific, and there again they focus on low and middle income countries in Asia. Really pleased our patient groups there, because they understood for the first time here was a commitment coming from high level to their needs and recognizing them. You know, we were recognizing their suffering and we were recognizing their need, and we will follow this now through into Africa as a whole. Watch out for our Pan-African Patients Alliance that's coming up at the back. And I think, Menassie, thank you very much for your personal contribution into this. Coming from Ethiopia and having European Union, the African Union based there, you did a tremendous job for us in trying to push forward this ratification of the African Medicines Agency. And I'm so glad we have got the 15 required requisite ratifying countries. They just need to now deposit their instrument. And I think when it does get ratified, I'll be inviting you again. So you wait here, have your champagne, anything ready, and we will have a good meal on that.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely excellent. And as I said, today was a great session that summarized what you have said clearly, that Africa needs to really now build back better, bring in African patient engagement into the center of everything, healthcare policy. People like yourself are really driving that, giving confidence. I think that's what's lacking. You radiate confidence, and that then once you give that confidence, then people believe in their own self-efficacy to change things, and they will step into that. I noticed we will have that Latin American, that example we'll be sharing with you as well, because we'll be working the same, and it is the same story there again. It's no different. Years of lack of political will to engage patients in health policy, some old derelict infrastructure, but with the new emphasis post-pandemic, I think everybody has realized that there is no such thing as health is a sovereign matter. It is a societal matter. I think it's for all of us. And your last message, I think, which I really loved, was that this is about whole of society and whole of industry working together. These things don't get solved in isolation and in what I call silos. And it really just behoves on me to say that conclude today's session, and wish everybody who's joined us have a great day. Do mark your Eid celebrations in safety, and do think of what us patients, and we thank you all from the bottom of our heart. And let's regroup tomorrow and have some more examples. Thank you very much, everybody.